Flipping through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory, and dusty words bring pictures to my mind. I see the marks of the passage of time.
Hello and welcome to the 11th episode of Journaling Through the Years. And fun fact, 11 is my favorite number. So we're in a good place today because 11 is lucky for me. Maybe, I don't know. So Journaling Through the Years, if you're just tuning in, there's been 11 episodes, and it's a series on this channel that I started where I read through all the journals that I have written in since I was old enough to hold a pencil, pretty much. And we are in I think the second version, the second book. Actually, no, this is the third. And it's my high school years, and we're almost done with this one. So today we're going to start with one that was written on June 23rd, 1995. And here's the interesting thing is I haven't read these yet, so I'm going to read them, and then I'll think about it as we go along. So here we go. I lie on this soft blanket, warm from the sun above, my toes digging into the soft, warm sand. I feel the breeze of the ocean against my shoulders. A smell of salt fills the air. I sip my Pepsi, look around at the scenery. I read my stories to my companions, then my mind takes me back. Old memories of myself fill my head. I see a young girl, a child, skips down the beach, happy thoughts filling her head. She seems like such a different girl than the one I am today. She seems like such a different girl than the one I am today. Yet we are one. I wish we could talk over all that has happened to her and to me in this year and the last year. And so I do in mind as I watch the people around me, the children play. Girl tosses a frisbee. Someone puts up a volleyball net. Some trot on horses down the beach. I skip through the waves and remember old days and laugh at the moments long gone. I skip with the innocent child I thought I had lost a year ago, and teach her the lesson that every creature is connected to each other, and whatever they do affects one another. So that was really interesting, especially that last little bit. You know, I love the idea that my teenage self was wanting to connect with her younger self. And at first I thought it was, you know, when she was much younger, but it's interesting because then I say a year ago. And that year ago was, I think this was when I had started dating, and I'd had 2 boyfriends at this time. And at 95, I want to say this is from freshman year to sophomore year, so like the summer between. And I think I'd had one boyfriend, the infamous Monty Weatherby, and he'd broken up with me at that time. So I'd already had heartbreak of some degree for a 14-year-old. And so I was saying, you know, I felt so mature, more mature than the 8th grade person or the person who had been starting freshman year that had yet to have her first boyfriend and her first breakup. And that's true at any age. I mean, I look back on that now at this girl writing this 15-year-old going into sophomore year of high school, and I'm thinking, or 16, however old I was, and it's like, you know, okay, I want to laugh at that now, like she was so grown up. But at the time, she was. I mean, every time we go through something, no matter how young we are, I mean, when we were young and we finally learned to tie our shoes for the first time or read for the first time, we were more mature than we had been before we knew how to do that. So everything we go through in life just advances us to the next level, the next stage in our evolution, whether that is something emotional or something more mental or academic. And I really like that, what I said last, because I still believe that. And maybe I learned that at that time. There was something, a way for me to heal the heartbreak over losing my first boyfriend and losing whatever that meant at 14 or 15, what it means to lose someone. I think it's more of like a status of I had a boyfriend. But to lose that connection and also, I think at the time, for many years, including recently, there was the sense of I looked to other people to feel validated and feel okay. If they gave me approval, I felt good in myself. So I look at this and teach her a lesson that every creature is connected to each other, and whatever they do affects one another. And definitely, I think I believe that now. And I think it's interesting that I had learned that then, and that, you know, my ex-boyfriend that broke up with me, it changed me today. It changed me then, and it made a difference in my life. When we were together, it made a difference. I was different. I was more mature, and we're still connected, even though he's passed on. We're always connected to the people that we come in contact with and have a relationship with that is substantial, no matter when the relationship changes, because we carry that lesson that it changes our heart. There's a story that I like to tell that I learned when I was at camp about the story of Yellow, where a little girl who is in the land of Yellow, and her name is Yellow, she only knows Yellow, and she ends up going on this journey where she meets a little girl named Blue and meets a little boy named Red at the ocean and at the desert, and every time they touch her, she changes whether green or she changes orange, and this is very upsetting to her because she's yellow. She doesn't want to change. But the moral of the story is that whenever you come in contact with someone else, and you have a relationship, whatever that is, with someone, you grow and you change in a better way, so that when you depart from them, you carry a piece of them. You carry that lesson learned of that relationship, and you're never really apart from that person. The love never dies because you have changed. You have changed for the better. And even if you have changed, even if they have left a mark and it's painful and it's sore, you will hopefully eventually work through all that pain and come out the top and be healthy and whole. And so even though it was hard and it was heartbreaking, you still were changed for the better. So you can send love back to that person that maybe hurt you, but you advance and work through it, hopefully. Like I look back at my ex-boyfriend or friends that were toxic to me for whatever reason, and at that season in my life, I loved them, and then I realized that the relationship was becoming one that wasn't mutually beneficial, or for whatever reason, and we separated. And it was painful, and it was hard, and our interactions had caused some toxicity, had caused some pain in my heart, not to mention being brokenhearted over the loss of that friendship. And yet, once I worked through it and was able to heal, I could send love back to them and to them today and say, thank you for helping me to become a stronger person by having you in my life, whether that was, that was when we were working together, whether that was positive or whether that was something negative happened. Both, sometimes both, because every relationship has its good and its bad. It's not all bad. Even my abusive husband, I have some really amazing memories with him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married him if he wasn't good. If he was abusive from the start, I'd be like, okay, see you later. Okay, moving right along to the last thing that we're going to read today. Local girl makes good. This doesn't have a date, so who knows. Local girl makes good. I sit in the plastic chair and watch the TV flash its colors. I hardly can move in the small room. The atmosphere seems to stifle my breathing. It is hot and humid. So I am a person that perhaps this is because I am an empath, but I've always not liked stuff. Currently right now, I turned off the air conditioner because I'm recording. And I don't like it when there's no air, when there's no flow of air. I get very sweaty immediately and I get overheated. And I think it's interesting that I'm saying that now in this room, that I'm like, and yet other people are probably just like, oh, this is cool. It's fine. So anyway, I digress. The atmosphere seems to stifle my breathing. It is hot and humid. Sweat clings to my brow and pours out my pores down my neck. My hair sticks to my head as I try to clip it up. God, I think, will this madness never end? My thoughts racing hurriedly through my mind are confusing and scary. I cannot seem to make sense of the thousands of pointless questions asked to me during the days of my life. And that's very metaphorical. I don't have a date. I don't have a time. But I think it's very fitting that at the time I was already dealing with the racing thoughts, whether that would be depression or mania or anxiety, whatever. I just didn't have a name for it or a diagnosis for it. And I think that is when you get the diagnosis, whatever it is, whether it's mental or physical, it's important to know that they're both tied, that your physical can affect your mental and your emotional, and vice versa. Like my celiac affects my mental and emotional when I eat gluten or wheat. My mind can race and I can lose control of my thoughts and my emotions, and vice versa. Where if I haven't, whatever it is, if I'm in a grumpy, depressed mood, I may not have the energy to go and get up and eat something or go for a walk. I may just want to wallow away in my bed. And so that's why I take some kind of antidepressant to get me to stay motivated to take care of myself so that my mind doesn't take over. That's how powerful the mind is. And that's why a lot of times they talk about change the scene, which is something that when you're feeling depressed, sometimes the best thing to do is not to try to figure out why you're depressed, but maybe the first best thing to do is to get up, change the scene from what you're doing, and maybe go for a walk, or go call a friend, or watch a funny TV show, read a book, just change what you're doing. And a lot of times that is exactly what you need to get yourself out of that wallowing depressive state and then move forward. And so that's where I'm going to leave you. And I hope you're having a nice day. And I hope you give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Share it out. Comment below. Tell me what you think about what I'm writing, what I'm sharing with you, what your thoughts are. If you have ever experienced any kind of depression or anxiety, and if my words, my journey through my journals is helping you at all, I would love to hear that. And I always comment. And if you subscribe to our channel, I always subscribe back. So anyways, thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.
I can't get away from love. If I went to the edge of the earth,